A shocking sidewalk attack on a Dallas County employee.
She doesn't even realize what happened to her.
The arrest just made and how police track down the suspect.
Plus, how hot this late summer heat wave will get and when it will all go away.
And a doctor convicted of obtaining IV bags. One victim's message after a courtroom twist.
Plus, soaring over North Texas, the dream flight for our nation's heroes.
You're watching NBC 5 News at 10.
Relief for people in downtown Dallas. Police say that the suspect wanted for a violent attack on a street corner is behind bars.
We've learned the victim is a Dallas County employee who was on her lunch break when she was knocked unconscious. Meredith Yeomans explains how police made the arrest, but first a warning that you may find the video of the attack disturbing.
We just want her to heal.
The victim in last week's unprovoked attack works at the Dallas County District Clerk's office, says District Clerk Felicia Petrie.
We see it every day, so we're not numb to it, but when it affects you directly, it's personal. It's personal.
Petrie says the clerk's name is Elizabeth, but didn't disclose her last name to protect her privacy.
She's been here over a year.
Elizabeth left the courthouse on her lunch break Thursday afternoon, and Petrie says coworkers grew concerned when she didn't return. They'd learned Elizabeth was the victim of this unprovoked attack, less than a half mile from work. The assault caught on camera.
She was just out on her lunch break, and this random person walked up and assaulted her. And a lot of disbelief on our behalf. Shock, really.
Dallas police released these images of the suspect who they say began following Elizabeth on her walk.
An arrest affidavit says multiple surveillance cameras along Elm Street recorded the suspect walking behind Elizabeth, who they say had no idea she was being followed.
Petrie says employees were on edge after the attack. Then came word of an arrest.
We've been on edge, prayerful and hopeful and relieved now.
Dallas police say 36-year-old Antonio Banks was arrested for an unrelated trespassing complaint Monday. They say he matched the suspect's description and was wearing the exact same clothes seen in the surveillance images, right down to the mismatched shoelaces.
It's a sense of relief, but still concern for Elizabeth.
Petrie says Elizabeth remains hospitalized with head injuries.
She's doing better, and believe it or not, in good spirits.
She says colleagues are donating sick time to their co-worker, knowing the victim in this random attack could have been them. Meredith Yeomans, NBC 5.
Banks is charged with aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury.
Well, turning to weather now and a late summer heat wave. And Chief Meteorologist Rick Mitchell has the forecast for us. Rick, I mean, we're getting closer to fall, but the temperatures, it's like they didn't get the memo.
Somehow, sometimes it works out that way. Yeah, we're actually going to be going up. These were high temperatures we had today. Keep in mind, our normal high is 88, and just about everybody was in the 90s, including 98, Corsicana, Hillsborough at 99, DFW, Dallas 96, Rockwell 96, Denton 96. Plus, the humidity was high enough. We had afternoon heat index values that were up around 100. These are temperatures in the morning. It'll start off decent enough, muggy though, but then as we get into the afternoon, it's going to be another day with temperatures well above normal. I'm looking at mid to perhaps a few upper 90s, and just like today, enough humidity so that it will feel like temperatures in the upper 90s to maybe as high as 103. We've got a few days of this, but it's not going to stick around much longer than that. I'll explain why when I come back.
All right, we'll see you then. Thank you, Rick. Now to breaking news. The search for a man suspected of shooting 5 people on a Kentucky highway appears to be over. State police say a body found in rural southeastern Kentucky is believed to be the gunman, identified as Joseph Couch. The man who found his body says the discovery will bring relief to a community that's been on edge for nearly 2 weeks.
It's important because everybody's been disrupted. You have a coward here that shot 5 people out here on a cliff for no reason whatsoever.
They say Couch fired up to 30 rounds toward Interstate 75 back on September 7th, striking a dozen cars. 5 people were seriously hurt. Police say accessories and a gun found with the body leads them to believe it is Couch. An autopsy will determine how he died.
Dallas police are investigating the murder of a 17-year-old Lincoln High School student over the weekend, just 1 week after a Kimball High School student was gunned down. Police say Demarie Hill Young was found shot to death on Berger Avenue near South Malcolm X Boulevard in the early morning hours on Saturday. Our Candace Sweat spoke exclusively with his aunt, who'd just taken him in for a fresh start. She has the story.
But this is him, his first game.
He was happy.
Yes, he was happy.
Latoya Stovall has no biological children of her own. This summer, though, she says she gained custody of her nephew, 17-year-old Demarie Hill Young. There were some growing pains.
You coming into a structured environment, and you're not going to tell me what you're going to do. You're going to listen to my rules.
But she says they were on their way to a new norm.
This was new for me and new for him, so we were on a fresh start.
Demarie enrolled at Lincoln High School, joined the football team, and had good grades. And Stovall had just received the keys to what was supposed to be their new 2-bedroom apartment.
I needed a bigger place because he was there with me. So I had just literally Friday picked up our keys to our new place. I had surprised him with all of the things that he wanted from the store, and everything was there waiting on him to open the door and see what was there for him.
She says the room is now empty. On Saturday, she received a call that her nephew had been shot and killed while staying overnight at a friend's house in Dallas. The details are unclear, and Dallas police are still investigating. There's still so much that Stovall doesn't know, but she does remember their last conversation.
He said, "I love you, Annie." I told him I loved him too, and that's the last words that we exchanged to each other.
Demarie was known by community leaders who told us he'd recently opened up to being mentored.
Just want to play football, just want to have fun, and he was talking about doing college.
Antron Grant and Jay Holland say they were just grappling with the shooting death of Kimball High School student David Washington. They want additional community resources to address the root of violence.
To focus on the traumas, to focus on all these things that's really keeping them from being able to be their better selves.
Life for Stovall will never be the same.
He would always do things that would annoy me, but they were also funny. We were working through it. So I miss him so much.
Still, there's one more thing she wants to make sure happens.
He's still gonna receive his diploma.
And you're gonna be the one?
And I'm gonna be the one to receive it for him.
In Dallas, Candace Sweat, NBC 5.
So far, no arrest has been made in the case, but anyone with any information is asked to call Dallas police. Happening tomorrow, the State Fair of Texas will be back in court defending its new gun policy. It prevents most people from bringing guns into Dallas Fair Park. The temporary injunction hearing was scheduled after Attorney General Ken Paxton filed a lawsuit arguing the policy is illegal. Now, this change follows a shooting last year that injured 3 people. The State Fair of Texas opens next Friday.
Take a look at this, a fiery scene on 635 LBJ near the Dallas North Tollway. A truck pulling a trailer engulfed in flames. We are working to learn what happened and whether or not anyone was hurt. In Capel ISD, parents and students continue to call for transparency about which school will be closed to save money. Pinkerton Elementary appears to be the remaining option after the district changed its plan earlier this week. At a packed town hall tonight, parents say they will not stop voicing their concerns.
It is not too late to fight. We have until September 30th. I don't want any parents to give up or feel like that this is done. It is far from being done.
I would love to see all schools staying open for the next school year and then making our decision after the legislature determines what school funding is going to look like in the future. And again, just having all the variables in play before we make that decision.
According to the district's website, the board will make a final decision on September 30th.
It's the economic relief buyers have been looking for finally happening. Today, the Federal Reserve announced it is cutting its key interest rate by 0.5%. For nearly 2 years, the Fed hiked rates in an effort to stop some of the highest inflation that we've seen in 4 decades. Our Keenan Willer joining us now. Keenan, experts in some industries say that they're already seeing the impacts of this decision.
That's right. Leaders in the real estate industry here in the Metroplex say this rate cut should make an immediate difference for home buyers, and it could be just the start. Some buyers tell me this feels like the break they've been waiting for to make a new home more affordable.
Been renting at the same apartments for the past 12 years now.
For many DFW residents trying to buy a home, the last few years have been an uphill battle. A report released this summer shows the median home cost in America has jumped 47% since 2020. On top of that, the Federal Reserve has raised interest rates significantly in response to inflation, driving up mortgage payments for home buyers.
When I started looking, it was like the rates was crazy.
Today marks a potential turn in the right direction. The Fed cut its key interest rate by 0.5%, an unusually large drop that experts say will have a big impact on North Texas real estate.
It is a phenomenal time to purchase a home.
Some mortgage lenders tell NBC5 the lower rate means buyers will pay less for mortgages, making this also a good time to find lower home prices before an increase in buyers could drive up the market.
So you've almost got the best of both worlds where rates are coming down a little bit, and then you've got sellers willing to negotiate.
Experts say the rate cut means loans and debts for the average customer should decline, but it could also speed up the growth of the entire DFW economy by bringing in new jobs.
Because now companies who are struggling or worry about taking on those loans to fund their bigger projects now have the capital to do it.
Some DFW home buyers say today's cut could be the difference maker they've been waiting for.
I save money when the interest rates go down. So now that it went down, I appreciate that. So I'm ready.
Experts say today's cut could be the start of multiple drops in the interest rate as federal officials try to boost hiring numbers and stop an economic slowdown. Brittany, Brian.
Thank you, Keenan. The massive plan to renovate Toyota Stadium could mean even more action in North Texas when the 2026 World Cup comes to town. The Frisco City Council approved the $182 million public-private partnership last night. The longtime home of the FC Dallas professional soccer team will get a roof to shade spectators. There will be more seats as well as new suites, clubs, and concessions.
We want Toyota Stadium, and we've already been accepted as one of the best venues for base camp training for a World Cup. And so this is a big thing to try to recruit visiting national teams.
The entire project won't be done until late 2027, but the stadium will stay open the entire time. Construction will happen in phases so the team and its fans can stay on home turf. Dan Hunt also shared with me his late father, Lamar Hunt's prediction about the future of Major League Soccer. It might surprise you. You can watch our conversation at NBCDFW.com.
Coming up, a Dallas doctor convicted of tainting IV bags. One victim's message after a courtroom twist.
Then rising tensions in the Middle East. A second day of explosions in Lebanon. What we're learning about the latest wave of attacks. And
look close, I'm tearing up. Not used to it. It's kind of gratifying.
An emotional day for local war veterans. The special flight honoring them for their service.
At Drive Time, we made this 30-second ad to show all of you and you that in as little as 30 seconds, you can start shopping thousands of cars and customize your payments to fit your budget all on your phone. Now with no hit to your credit when you shop online. Wait, no credit hit. Now when you shop online with DriveTime.com, you can do a lot in a little time. Like I can shop thousands of cars and customize my payments without impacting my credit. Yeah, it's that easy. Ooh, I like this one. No, I like this one. Go to DriveTime.com and do a lot in not a lot of time.
Sean Diddy Combs will not be released from jail. This comes after he and his attorneys went back to court today to fight for bail. Attorneys asked a judge to let Combs wait for his sex trafficking trial at his home near Miami Beach, rather than in a federal jail in Brooklyn. His attorneys also offered a $50 million bail package using his mansion as collateral. The judge denied the request and set the next hearing for October 9th. Victims of a Dallas anesthesiologist convicted of tampering with IV bags continue waiting for his sentencing. In April, a federal jury convicted Ronaldo Ortiz on multiple charges for injecting drugs into IV bags at Baylor Scott and White. One person died and other patients suffered cardiac emergencies. Ortiz was set to be sentenced today in federal court in Dallas, but that hearing was postponed. We spoke with one victim who drove from East Texas to give an impact statement, but now he'll have to wait.
I think the judge does need to hear the effect this had on the individuals and also the medical community, which I'm also a part of. So certainly felt important to me to give my statement. Hopefully I'll still be able to do that at some point.
Ortiz faces up to 190 years in prison. There's no word yet on why today's hearing was pushed back.
A second wave of device explosions hit Lebanon today, one day after Hezbollah said Israel detonated hundreds of pagers belonging to its members. At least 20 people have been killed, including children, and more than 3,000 have been injured over the past 2 days. For a second day in a row, a massive chain of explosions tore through Lebanon. First, it was pagers belonging to Hezbollah members that blew up. Now, according to Lebanese state media, it's walkie-talkies. We are seeing these explosions in Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, but also in the south near the border with Israel, and in the east in a Hezbollah stronghold known as the Bekaa Valley. Lebanese state media is saying that 9 people were killed in the latest explosions. That's on top of the 12 who were killed yesterday. And hospitals are struggling to deal with an influx of more than 3,000 wounded people. Now, Israel's government is refusing to say whether it was responsible for these attacks. The Israeli defense minister did say the war has entered a new phase, with troops and equipment shifting from the fight against Hamas in Gaza to the fight against Hezbollah in Lebanon. 2 U.S. officials tell NBC News that Israel was responsible for yesterday's attacks. Officials worry that the attacks could lead to a regional war.
American Airlines honored 4 local senior veterans for their service with a dream flight today. They got to ride in a restored, open cockpit World War II era biplane called Spirit of Wisconsin. This flight was extra special because it was the program's 7,000th dream flight. Jeff Klosky is one of 10 American Airlines pilots who volunteer. He says it is worth every minute of his time.
I do it because I love giving back to something that's a greater good than just taking care of myself. And it's to say thank you to veterans. And it's just very rewarding. We don't get paid anything, but we get paid in smiles.
That's what makes it worth it, right? The veterans served in World War II, as well as the Korean and Vietnam Wars. And Rick, you thought you saw them flying today, right?
I saw 3 biplanes as I was driving into work, and I thought, now what's going on here? I don't know if it was that, but how many biplanes are flying over DFW today?
Exactly, and it was a beautiful day to go flying,
it was.
that's for sure.
Imagine, how cool would that be? Open air cockpit flying around like that? Well, good for them. That's a good story. We have some heat. I mean, my goodness, it was hot today, 96 degrees. This is the time of the year where we think the heat's kind of downshifting, but summer's going to hang on just a little bit longer. I call it a late summer heat wave. The good news is it can't last forever, and it won't. It's got a very limited shelf life. Our hottest days will probably be tomorrow and Friday, 97, 98. Could someone hit 100? Yeah, they could, but I don't think most of us will. Not as hot for next week. There'll be some jet stream changes that will be adding to our comfort level because temperatures will come down. Rain chances still look quite low. If we have any, I think it's going to wait until maybe mid next week. But right now, the main player, as it has been much of the summer, the heat dome. It's on top of us and will be through Friday. But this weekend, we already start to see it breaking down just a little bit. It's going to shift a little off to the east, and just that little change is enough to bring temperatures down a few degrees, okay? So our hottest days tomorrow, Friday, temperatures come down. Still going to be a hot weekend, but the bigger change will come next week as the whole pattern shifts around, and that's going to allow a cold front to slip in here. Now, it's not a big old doozy of a cold front, but it will be enough to bring our temperatures back closer to what they're supposed to be this time of year, and that's in the 80s. None of this 90s nonsense. 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon on Futurecast, there's not a whole lot to show you. It's a really tranquil weather pattern with that ridge of high pressure sitting on top of us. If there are any thunderstorms, the closest ones will be up towards Amarillo and maybe Wichita, but nothing in North Texas. Temperatures, let's start with the morning. Starting off low to mid 70s. Not a bad start to the day, but it will be muggy when you first head out the door. And tomorrow afternoon certainly will be hot, mid to upper 90s. And as I pointed out earlier, the heat index will probably be anywhere from 100 to maybe as high as 103 for a few hours during the hottest part of the morning. Temperatures on Friday afternoon, it'll be hot as well. Highs again, upper 90s. It'll be a warm evening for high school football. But as you'll see, temperatures will start to come down just a little bit over the weekend. Still above normal, but next week looks good. These are temperatures that I'm expecting. Highs will be in the upper, maybe even middle 80s. Maybe we'll go below normal for a little bit. Wouldn't that be nice? It'd be nice if we get some rain. Forecast tonight, mainly clear, warm and dry, a low of 76. Tomorrow will be a hot day, a high of 97, feeling like maybe 102 during the hottest part of the afternoon. Not a whole lot of a breeze, southeast, maybe 10 miles per hour or so. 97 again Friday, and then temperatures start to gradually come down. Remember, fall officially arrives Sunday morning. Upper 80s Monday, okay, that's pretty normal, and then maybe some of those mid 80s creeping in here by mid next week. If we were to see any rain, I think it might be in the Wednesday, Thursday time frame, but the models, they're all disagreeing with one another. We'll let them sort it out before we put it in the forecast. Brian?
All right, thank you, Rick. Micah Parsons shares a message for frustrated Cowboys fans. Newey has more with the star linebacker next in sports.
The 1-1 Dallas Cowboys are back to start in Frisco to prepare for Sunday's showdown with the 0-2 Baltimore Ravens' Jerry World. Micah Parsons and his teammates are hoping to turn around their fortunes at home after getting embarrassed by the Green Bay Packers in last year's wild card round and on Sunday against the New Orleans Saints.
I mean, to have back-to-back embarrassing losses at home, like, man, I get the fan frustration, but I don't think there's anyone more frustrated than me. At the end of the day, like, it's all about wanting it more. And to me, not having everyone want it as bad as you do, that kind of hurts the most.
Tonight in Arlington, the Rangers hosting the Blue Jays in Game 2 of their series. Scoreless until the bottom of the 6th inning, and that's when Adolis Garcia puts Texas on the board with his 23rd home run of the season. Aledo high school product Cody Bradford threw 7 shutout innings, leading the Rangers to a 2-0 win, and they'll go for the sweep tomorrow afternoon. The Dallas Stars will open up training camp tomorrow morning at Comerica Center in Frisco. Head coach Pete DeBoer is hoping his team takes the next step after advancing to the Western Conference Finals last season.
You know, I'm excited. I'm excited about the growth of the young guys coming back, but you know, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be another grind, and we've got to embrace that.
Stars forward Jason Robertson will miss the rest of training camp after undergoing off-season foot surgery. He's expected to be ready for the season opener on October 10th. I'm Newey Scruggs for NBC 5 Sports. We're back after this.
For the first time in decades, the Teamsters Union has declined to endorse a candidate for president. The decision comes 2 days after the union's leaders met with Vice President Kamala Harris and months after they met with former President Donald Trump. The Teamsters, which represents truck drivers, freight workers, and others, has for decades endorsed Democratic presidential candidates, including Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and Barack Obama.
U.S. officials gathered in the nation's capital today for the first nail driving of the inauguration platform. You know, each platform is constructed entirely from scratch for every inaugural ceremony. It's more than 10,000 square feet. It traditionally holds more than 1,600 people for the swearing in. All right, how about this year's favorite toys? The Toy Hall of Fame shortlist is next.
At Long John Silver's, our wild-caught Alaskan fish is a buried treasure wrapped in a soft flour tortilla. Hook 2 tacos for $5 and add our new waffle fries for an even bigger bounty. Make our app your first mate and order ahead to skip the wait. Long John Silver's, Fish Yeah.
Okay, this is a fun one. Before we go, the list of finalists for the Toy Hall of Fame is out. The Strong National Museum of Play announced the 12 finalists that are vying for the top 5 spots. Here are some of the standouts in this year's list. They include balloons, the hobby horse, games including Pokemon, Apples to Apples, My Little Pony, that's the one I remember the most, Hess Toy Trucks. Just brings it all back, right? Fans can vote on their favorite finalists online, and you can find that link on our website, NBCDFW.com. Hey, voting ends next Wednesday.
It's the Hess toy truck for me. I had one of those.
Hess toy truck,
Yep.
My Little Pony. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
We can go online and cast our votes,
Yes,
right?
we can.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. The Tonight Show's coming up next.
Yes, and we will see you again tomorrow, everyone. Have a good night.
I'm not sure about balloons.
Right.
Is that a